the process of awakening it's interesting because in the beginning you see that's also my experience. There's a lot of confusion because everything that you've been taught, everything that you have believed during your whole life seems to be a false idea. And so there's constantly in every situation there are these old concepts. They are getting inside you, and you're starting to act in the old way. But then there's suddenly this new insight, and then everything you start at a rational level start to look at your old and new concepts, and that's pretty much a it's a confusing element during this process. Um, then when you start to get a glimpse of your true nature, which people have glimpse of all the time, but then you are aware of it, it feels so light and intense, and you want to share it with everyone. You're like, everyone should know this message. This is really wonderful. So I was at parties, birthday parties, telling people that they had no free will, that they didn't exist, and that their beer was an optical illusion, a holographic thing appearing in this universe. And people went crazy, like, Paul, please shut up and drink beer. So this is this falling in love part. Then there's this feeling of feeling superior, because when you start to understand non-duality, this ego, it's grabbing it. It's like, oh, this is a nice concept. Let's use it. So you're getting into a discussion with people, telling him or her, yeah, you are busy with spirituality, but I already know that I do not exist. So you start feeling superior, and it's a funny thing. It's like the ego is still involved, and it's using the concept to feel special, because it's been doing that your whole life. After that, the ego might use the concept to avoid pain, because it thinks, if I understand this non-dual message, then there's no resistance, then I hardly will experience any pain. So if there is pain, if there is frustration, it will just try to to wash it away, like oh, it's not real, it's just a thought, or my pain is just pain, it's not mine. So it's using the concept to avoid all these negative experiences, to avoid sadness or madness and all these things. And then when people, I call it zooming in or out, when you have got this overview and everything seems to be clear, there's no resistance, you are aware of your true nature, and it feels great. And sometimes it's like, it's for days that you feel, wow, I finally got it. But then the ego is starting to claim it. It thinks that I finally got it. And at that moment you're instantly back to basic again, thinking I'm an individual who needs to do something, or who did something to understand it. And also during this process, during your life, you've been trying to push away all kinds of negative experiences and emotions. And when this non-dualistic insight is integrating, the point of you reach the point at where all these suppressed emotions and experiences can finally come up, and well, there's no resistance, so they finally come out. It's like holding all these balls underwater. When there's no resistance, they pop up. And that really hurts, because there is a lot of old pain and traumas, and this is the first time when they really get to the surface. So then people feel pain and they're like, well, this doesn't feel good, this can't be it, this non-dualistic thing is not my thing. Because you've been used to avoid pain during your whole life, and that's what you want to continuing to do. So, and then when everything becomes more and more clear, you sometimes get these situations where you still identify yourself with it's me, it's my choice, or I have to blame him, and these old frustrations come up. So it's like, oh yeah, I got it, oh no, I don't have it, oh yeah, I got it, oh I don't have it, and then you start worrying about not having it, till finally there's this realization that it does not matter if you think you are the ego or if you think you are consciousness, because it's all consciousness playing this game. So someone who truly believes he is an individual who needs to control life is it's the same consciousness as the enlightened guru. So there's no good or bad, or there's nothing to go to. It's all appearing in consciousness. So there's nothing to go to anymore. It's the realization that it's just consciousness playing this game. You're not doing it. So you're not worrying about it anymore. And then there's, well, this point at where the self-realization takes place. But not thanks to you, not because you did something. It's because the inside integrated that there's nothing you can do, because you are not the doer. Everything is simply happening. And then people say, well, if this awakening is a process, then maybe I can do it faster. Well, you can't, because you are not the doer. Alright, it's just happening. So well, that's it. But everything that's been written or been told about non-dualism is just a concept. There's nothing to grab, and if you try to use the concept as a method, you won't find it, because there is instantly this thought that there's a separate individual, an I, who can do something to get from A to B. But a wave in the ocean can't do anything to become the ocean. It already is. It's just not aware that its true nature is water. So if a wave is trying to become water, it is struggling with the concept that I am not water already, so what should I do? And we're all waves within the ocean. We come up and we go. But what you really are is this ocean, so you see everything appear and disappear again. Everything. Even this thought of I, even yourself, even people around you, experiences, emotions, feelings, thoughts. Everything, it appears and it disappears automatically. So if you realize that you are the ocean, you can watch the waves come up and go without any resistance.